Hello everyone, welcome in the terrain making video. As a start, let's go over quickly what type of terrain you can have in Trench Crusade. And these are the open, the difficult, dangerous and the impossible. So these are you need to work with during the game. And as a base I use the same foam for part of the terrain that I use for the trench. And the other type of foam I used is a much thinner PVC foam. And is going to give the base for the terrains. And the dimensions I use are smaller than most of trenches, so it means that most of the terrain can fit on the top of the trenches. So some variations I was thinking about when I started this was this kind of graveyard, let's say, or gravestones. It's just purely for decoration. And the next one is like these heads on the pole, and I think this can be either difficult terrain or objective, but I think rather difficult. The other one is a small risky / objective marker for like oversized artillery with some munitions. The other one is a bigger one. Like with 7 pillar representing the 7 scene for the court of the 7-headed serpent. And the middle area can be like objective area, let's say, for the channel, because of the channeled area or energy, with some extra crystal bit. And the other one, the same one with an open area, and in the middle with a pillar. And on the side some ruined wall or building parts which can provide some cover, but also the pillars can provide cover because smaller units can hide behind them. And some in progress small snippet. Also the terrain has the bits glued and also the gravel added. And this gravel was going to look like very interesting after it's painted. But overall, I think these are a fine addition to a terrain, but the main problem is that these are not providing enough line of sight blocking. So probably bigger buildings needs to be built or printed or whatsoever to have a real chance for most of the units to survive passing through the terrain. And in the meantime I also started to work some smaller bullet shrine and a classic big concrete cross and some hopefully rock looking something. But I had some other idea in the meantime. After the painting was done and it was dried, you can see the difference between the gravel and the basing paste. After all done and painted, this is the end result, let's say. The leftover ruined building with several walls around and inside, so units can hide and have cover if they are entering this, let's say, open terrain. I think that's the best one for that. The piled heads on the poles. I think the best one for this is simply a difficult terrain, so because the units can, or not can, but needs to squeeze them between the poles. The oversized ammo boxes, let's say, so it's also, I think, better for objective marker or simply just for an extra cover. And the small ones, and in the small ones I made one with like holy items inside. The graveyard with the headstones, or I don't know what's the name exactly. So it's just purely, I think, for decoration because it's not really an objective marker. And the bullet shrines, one hell and one holy. The swamp, it's like 2 pieces, so it can be used as 2 smaller one or 1 bigger one, I think depending on what the players are agreeing on before the game. So it can be both, can be good for movement blocking, or let's say using the 2 together and putting one objective marker in the middle and creating it a bit harder to capture, for example. The cross with very beautiful aluminum wire and some extra like copper and other metal, but I just wonder how long it takes to break them off, so yeah, we will see. But I think it's looking fine as a start. Maybe I will put some extra writing on them later. The rocks for some additional line of sight blocking. I think these are fine, but nothing special, just some basic recommendation. The first, let's say, open terrain-ish objective pillar something. I don't know why, but this foam green water gel looks very good in these small craters. I don't know why, but I think I will going to use it a lot later. But also here it's very visible how nice the gravel looks like with the paint. Some skulls here and there, and some headstone also. So I think it's quite fine. And the big one with the 7 pillar. So 4 in the corners, being taller one, I think it's 7 centimeter. And 3 in the middle with some crater. And kind of blood crystals, as I mentioned. Maybe it's worth to add some blood for the blood god or other technical paint around it just to have some blood effect, but I think it's looking quite good. Also good cover provider, but not good for line of sight blocking. And again in some photo of them. And just some closing idea or thought, let's say. So I already have one idea to make like a Sea of Skulls difficult terrain, let's say. But otherwise I think it's a very good start. Maybe what would really can make some extra addition is creating forest maybe. And some either full buildings or ruined buildings. Because still the only line of sight blocker I can maybe put on the table is mostly the trench and the rocks. So some additional is required, but I think as a base it's a good start for a table. And with the amount of trenches, it can be either a very trenchy one with some extra terrain on the top of them, or with a very few trench and the rest of the terrain used based on the scenario to cover the table as best as possible to have a good match. So yeah, more terrain I will probably make later, but for now that's it for these ones. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.